Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Skyblock Survival Guide. I hope you guys are having a good day, and in today's episode you will notice that some stuff around here is looking a little bit different. I have been doing a little bit of resource grinding and progress and stuff off camera for this Skyblock world, just to get things moving so we can move through the progression of things here in Skyblock and not worry too much about the smaller stuff like grinding a bunch of cobble and tree farming. And speaking of tree farming, this is now in Minecraft 1.15.2, and yeah, while I was farming some trees on a stream, 1.15.2 came out, and I figured why not have a go at spawning some bees in. And it worked. It worked very, very well. And if you're interested in how this works with the flowers and the tree and all that, make sure to watch the most recent episode at the time of this recording of the Minecraft Survival Guide, which explains how the new bee mechanics work. I'm not going to go into it in detail. What I am going to go into is the problems you encounter with bees in Skyblock, because now I have 3 beehives, or 3 bee nests rather here, and you might expect these to be festooned with bees, loads of bees everywhere, and I have enough flowers that I could potentially breed some bees. However, bee pathfinding tends to expect them to hover down until they find a solid block. They will drift off into the air, and then they will head downwards to find a solid block. What that means here in Skyblock is that they drift downwards until they reach the void. And as you can see now, I have 5 or 6 bees just sitting at the void level and not going anywhere, which is really unfortunate. And it means if we actually want to go through the process of farming bees in Skyblock, we will need to box them in. And that's not something I can really do right now. I don't have the capacity to move the bee nests using Silk Touch, because of course I don't have Silk Touch tools at all. And overall, I don't think it's going to be a particularly productive endeavor right now. I don't really have a use for honey or honeycomb or honey blocks, so really I'm just going to leave these to their own devices. But it is kind of fun that we were able to spawn in 3 bee nests on the stream. Now, the other thing we did on the stream, since I had already done a little bit of it in the previous episode, was I just went out to the other islands on the periphery of this Skyblock map, and I found myself, if I can up the render distance just a little bit, I got out to the islands over there that had the birch, the dark oak over there, the acacia over there. I have not yet gone to the desert island, because that is something I thought we could do in this episode, but I managed to get myself saplings of all the 4 remaining varieties of tree. We already had the spruce one from that episode. We'd already been out to the mushroom island over there and the oak island there. Oh, a bee has just drifted up. I hope that one is deciding to return to the nest. Anyway, yes, we now have saplings of all the varieties, including, and I was very lucky to get this, 4 dark oak saplings. So today we are going to establish ourselves a tree farm. The thing about this now is that we are going to establish it a little bit further away from this tree farm here, and there is a very good reason for that, and it's these. Spruce saplings, when grown in a 4x4 on Minecraft Java Edition, produce podzol. They effectively turn all of the neighboring grass into podzol, and while that wouldn't be a huge problem in vanilla Minecraft with default terrain, in Skyblock the grass is kind of essential. We kind of want to make sure that the grass stays around, and so spawning podzol here and having this entire thing taken over by podzol is definitely not something I want. So I'm going to set up a tree farm a little bit further away. I think we'll probably put it opposite the crop farm over here so that we have a kind of farming district here in the sky, and I think that is where we're going to set up a more permanent tree farm, because if the dirt turns into podzol, not a problem. If the grass turns into podzol, that is not quite game over, because we still have a bunch of grass down there at the level of the void, but I would not be a particularly happy person. So I think the first task for today's episode is going to be to set up a tree farm over here, and then I think we're going to go ahead and head out to that desert island to acquire the last thing from the island surrounding here, the cactus. I've also reached the point with this series where I really want to start doing something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than just a bunch of functional platforms in the sky, and I think the appearance of the bee nests is really what has started me down that road. Bee nests are such an attractive block to me that I kind of feel like we should probably start making things look a little bit nicer, just so that stuff feels more at home. So I'll try and decorate a little bit of this tree farm as well once we have the foundation of it set up. I've also noticed that these bees have been working inside the nests, and that this one has produced a little bit of honey. This nest over here produced some honey as well. I managed to get a campfire underneath that. Needed to make sure there was an air block in between the campfire and the nest, though I'm pretty sure that is still required, and I got myself a bottle of honey. Now, honey bottles aren't going to be useful for much yet, and we have no way of producing glass bottles until we get out to the desert island over there and set up a farming area for husks, which are going to give us renewable sand. I can't really produce glass bottles without that unless we happen to get them from killing witches, which is how come I have one there in the first place. But likewise, shears for honeycomb are going to require using iron. I have 4 iron ingots now, but I don't really feel like using 2 of those for shears quite yet. So for the time being, we're going to leave things as they are. I'm also going to get some of these pork chops in the furnace now so that I can replenish my stamina, because I am running a little bit low on food. Should be all good to go now. The last of the dirt is going in and being hoed, and we can lay out a tree farm. So at first, with the limited amount of saplings we have, the priority is going to be acquiring more saplings. For that, we will need to space these out so we have the maximum amount of space for them to grow leaves. And in this case, we're going to start out with a 2x2 there for the spruce, and probably a 2x2 here for the jungle trees as well. And then we'll end up with a couple of the smaller trees just occupying spaces at the front here. I'm going to take down the trees that are over here with the exception of the one in the middle that's got the bee nests around it. I kind of like that one, and I'm thinking about just keeping that for the rest of the Skyblock series. It's going to be kind of cool to have one tree that persists throughout the rest of the series now, and with that one having 3 bee nests around it, I think it kind of works. It's also a larger tree, although not one of the largest oaks. It feels like a good centerpiece for the island in general. Now, as I said, the important thing here is going to be to make sure that the spruce saplings stay far enough away from the rest of the grass that they're not going to spread over that with podzol. Let's grab some of the bones, which I think are now in this chest. Yeah, we got loads of bone meal in there. I've been doing a bit of farming as well, and we can do a little bit more of that in a little while. But for now, let's grow ourselves a giant spruce, and that has given us a huge amount of leaves. In fact, I might widen out the platform one more space to each side just to give that a little bit more space to drop an ample amount of saplings. But as you'll see here, even though the blocks are not connected, it has spread podzol to this block, and these 2 on the same y-axis. I don't know if it would spread to blocks below that, but I have a feeling it does. So yeah, probably best to grow your spruce saplings away from anything you don't want turning into podzol. In this case, though, it's not going to affect the tree farm in any way. You can plant any kind of saplings on podzol. It's not even going to affect the fact that we are growing a 2x2 tree here. And for now, I think we can start taking down this spruce tree and hopefully getting a whole lot of saplings out of it. One thing's for sure, we are definitely going to be getting a whole lot of wood out of it, which is very, very good. Having bulk wood supplies is going to be great for building a small house, a shelter, a storage room, that kind of thing, and also just for manufacturing charcoal and other important resources we will need throughout our time in Skyblock. And at this stage, I think I can be confident enough that this tree will produce a bunch of saplings that I won't worry about taking down all of the leaves by hand. Instead, we're just going to let the tree decay naturally, and hopefully we should have ourselves a decent yield of saplings from that. I'm going to have to stick around, though, to make sure I collect all of them before they despawn, so it's probably a good idea to do a little bit of tree farming in the meantime. But look at that, more than a stack of spruce wood already. That's very, very good amounts, and we should get a couple of saplings from this as it decays. We've already got 1, so we have enough to grow another 2x2 spruce if we want to. This is looking like an industrial tree. Yep, there we go, lots of saplings dropping now, excellent stuff. And as for the rest of these, I think we're going to be placing an acacia here, a birch there, and a couple of oaks over here. And I think oak is going to be the second most used wood that we encounter here. We can get a whole bunch of leaves and saplings from it. Birch I'm going to use a little bit less. Acacia I use very infrequently, and we've already got enough grey stuff around here, so the grey logs of acacia are not going to be that appealing to me. Jungle and dark oak, we are going to grow 2x2s of both of those, so I'll probably want another 2x2 platform out here somewhere as we expand the tree farming platform, but I'm going to grow those one at a time, making sure that I have enough room for the leaves to decay, because the dark oak one especially, they don't grow a huge amount of leaves, and you will need 4 saplings to grow them again. You can get saplings from the Wandering Trader, but that will require us to get emeralds, so I'm going to have to wait for those emeralds before I can get them from those. So hopefully if I can keep hold of at least 4 dark oak saplings each time, that would be preferable. And in the meantime, we can talk a little bit about composting, because this version of Skyblock actually has an additional data pack related to composters, which allows composters to produce dirt as well as bone meal. And people have been asking me if I'm going to build a composter in this pack since about day 1 of the series. So what better time than now that we have a whole excess of wood here. The composter recipe was recently changed to just use slabs like so instead of using fences as it did in Java Edition in previous iterations. So I'm going to put the composter over here and we can try it out for the first time. I've got a lot of carrots and potatoes, some of which I intend to use for various things, but I think I can sacrifice a stack or so just to demonstrate how this works. Let's get those going into the composter here. And of course, 1 potato is not necessarily going to mean 1 level of the composter, but they have a pretty solid chance. And if you right click on that now, you get both a bone meal and a piece of dirt. So hopefully we should be able to produce a little bit more dirt from our tree farm that way without having to worry too much about using the gravel and coarse dirt method. Makes them slightly more pleasant to farm, I guess. The first issue with that, of course, and the reason I didn't make a composter earlier, was not really having a high amount of stuff to compost. The only thing I could think of that I would be able to compost early enough in the game would be my supply of oak saplings, which I'm not keen on running out of by accident. But now we've got this crop farm set up and running and producing crops pretty handily, I don't need to worry too much about using some of these in the composter. So for a stack of potatoes there, we got ourselves 6 dirt and a little bit of extra bone meal, which is lovely. I'll pop the rest of the potatoes back in there. Obviously, we could end up automating this in the fullness of time, but right now we don't have hoppers or anything like that, so it's really not worth it. That spruce tree seems to have finished decaying, though. Let's collect up all of the rest of those. We've got 9 extra saplings, leaving us with 20. That's a decent increase from the 7 we had. I'm going to try dark oak now, and this is where things get a little bit worrying because I want to make sure I come away with enough saplings that I can make a return on this investment. So we're going to carve our way up here. We're going to let the tree decay naturally as before, and let's hope we get at least 4 dark oak saplings back. Well, probability is a cruel mistress, and I'm going to have to put off making another 2x2 platform because after taking down that dark oak tree, I only got 2 dark oak saplings back. So we are going to have to wait for the wandering trader because a single dark oak sapling will not produce anything at all. And hopefully the wandering trader will come along at some point when we have emeralds so I can buy some more dark oak saplings. In the meantime, 44 dark oak logs plus whatever I have in the chest over here is all we will have. That's a real shame. But then again, without fortune tools, we were not guaranteed to get a higher yield of dark oak saplings any other way, so it was really going to be a case of this being a bit of a gamble, and it's going to be a while until I acquire fortune tools, so I guess we may as well just roll with it for now, use one of these as spruce, one of them as jungle, and leave the dark oak in here for a time when we can get some more. Well, the next thing I'm going to do is make a bunch of cobblestone slabs and once again bridge out from the areas that I've already bridged to find that desert island. I'm going to wait for the sun to go down completely before I do though, because I want to make sure that I have a full day's worth of exploration to head over there without worrying too much about night falling and mob spawning, because I would rather not deal with husks out here. Alright, let's set off over the void. I've put all of the important stuff, give or take this stack of bone meal, in the chests around there, so the bucket of water is carefully placed in one of those chests, and let's head out to the desert and see what we can grab here. Now, when it comes to this desert island, I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful than I usually would, because if the entire island is made of sand and has been placed there by the map editing tools that the map maker has used to put this stuff here, there is every chance that if we cause a block update there, all of the blocks of sand and the cactus that is resting on them could end up falling into the void. If it's made out of sandstone and it's hovering there of its own accord, then that's fine, but if it is a block that's affected by gravity, a single block update could cause it all to fall, and then we don't get anything from this island. The cactus is kind of a necessity, and once again, we'd have to wait for the wandering trader to come around and sell it to us. So we're going to have to approach this with caution. I'm checking every so often to make sure that I am still a little bit far away from the island so I can make a quick assessment before I go ahead and place any blocks around here. Whoa, and that took me by surprise, nearly jumped off my platform here, and that gave us the exploration challenge for reaching out and finding all of the surrounding islands. Well, there's a lot more to find on this map from what I've heard, so we won't celebrate just yet, and it does look like I am going to have to get a little bit lower down, because the block there is still only one block above the slabs that I'm placing here, so if we cause a block update to any of those, then the entire thing is going to fall. You'll see the particles, that means those blocks are potentially going to fall. So what I might do is head back and maybe get something I can use to place blocks underneath here, or underneath the platform I've already made, so we have a better chance of making a platform underneath the area where this island is. So a few blocks out from the island, I'm just going to make a little ring of slabs here so that we can make sure we place the water in the middle and have a solid platform to land on once we get up here. I am going to waterlog that slab there, but that should give us ample room, and the water is flowing down to either side, so we got plenty of room to work with. Now, hovering down through here, just going to swim down nice and gently, placing the slabs on this corner until we have a couple of blocks worth of leeway. That should be enough, and now I can collect that water source back up, and we'll probably bridge out from this right now, just so we can avoid taking the water bucket all the way back, although that's probably the safer thing to do in this instance. I am going to call it there. So this platform right here, is that a full block? No, it is not. Okay, excellent. That is a lower half slab. We're going to build out a platform underneath the entirety of this desert island, and once we update the blocks above it, it should all just fall down here and break. So I'll make a decent sized platform of cobble slabs just to make sure that none of the sand items drop off of here. I think we'll do one more row on this side like so, and then all we should need to do is place a slab here, and this is what would have happened. We would have ended up with half of the blocks falling away. Let's update the rest of these, and the cactus just broke as well. Looks like we got everything from the island. Whoa, that cactus was right there on the edge, but there we go. 3 cactus and 28 sand. That sounds to me like a cactus farm. Hey folks, welcome back. So after a bit of a mammoth tree farming session and a few other things, I have myself a whole lot of wood in here right now, and as you'll see, I have started to do a little bit of fishing, because I figured one of the things we could also do, both to get food and to get miscellaneous things, is to go fishing. And the best place to go fishing, I decided, was the jungle biome. So out here on the end of this little spit of cobblestone, we have a jungle lake that I built up on another stream just using bits and pieces of dirt and stone and that kind of thing, and this is going to be an ideal place to pick up a little bit of flotsam and jetsam that can be acquired through fishing for loot. You'll see in my hotbar that I already have an enchanted fishing rod that I was able to fish up using a regular fishing rod. So fishing is one of those tasks where you can actually kind of upgrade your equipment as you go. Not only that, but it gave me an enchanted bow, which has a higher enchantment than any of the others I'd gotten already from the skeletons. So I think it may be worth continuing to fish. Hopefully we can get one with better durability, maybe with unbreaking, power 4, that kind of stuff, and maybe we can stockpile a few of these bows to help us a little bit later on when we're going to try and fight the dragon. I've also got myself a saddle and a few other ingredients, a bottle of water, which was a really great find and is going to help us brew some splash potions later on when we need to cure villagers, and also a tripwire hook. And I'm going to do a little bit more fishing right now in order to get a second tripwire hook, because if we get more than one tripwire hook, we can make some redstone contraptions. In particular, we can implement a design for a husk farm out there underneath the area, which you can't see at the moment, but was underneath the desert island. And I have a couple of different ways of setting up a mob spawning platform that's going to allow us to spawn husks. And I'm going to fish a little bit here while I explain. Husks are kind of unique in terms of zombie variant mobs. You don't find them spawning in caves underneath deserts, and that is because not only do they only spawn in desert biomes, but they have to spawn with direct access to the sky above them. Basically, there cannot be a block above their heads, which makes spawning them in a mob spawner like the one we've already set up basically impossible. They need to have open sky access above their heads in order to spawn. So we are going to have to create a spawning platform that is open to the elements, not an enclosed one that works during the day, but something that can only work during the night, and allow it to spawn husks, and then somehow clear that platform so we can farm the husks for sand. Because as you will know from the advancements page, husks do drop sand, and one of the tasks is to get a stack of it, but obviously we will need sand if we want to get glass, turn the glass into bottles so that we can make potions, that kind of stuff. There is a lot of stuff that we will need sand for aside from these advancements, and so I think it's going to be a good idea to set up a husk farm relatively early. The problem being, how do you clear off that platform? Personally, I would like to do that with a dispenser and some flowing water. You can, of course, do it with turtle eggs and that kind of stuff, but as we've seen in the existing mob farm, turtle eggs only work on a couple of different mobs, and then the farm gets clogged up with all of the other stuff that's spawned up there, and without an efficient way of clearing it, you're not going to be able to have that farm turn over and generate more husks. So what we're going to do is build a dispenser using bows, the single piece of redstone dust we have remaining, and hopefully we're going to be able to activate that using some redstone components. Now, without easy access to redstone components, we're not going to have an easy time doing that, but if I can get another tripwire hook from this, it means I don't have to craft one out of the iron ingots I have left over, and I will also hopefully be able to set up something that we can use to trigger a dispenser using a tripwire hook and a piece of string. So I'm going to do a bit more fishing over here. This rod actually has Luck of the Sea 2 on it, so I'm more likely to get treasure items as I'm here fishing. Hopefully, I get to fish up another tripwire hook, and from there, we'll see if we can make ourselves this husk farm. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, the reason we're fishing in a jungle biome as opposed to any other place on this map is because if you fish in a jungle biome, there is a small chance, a very small chance, that as a treasure item, you can get bamboo. It's a very small chance, and I think this is the only way you can get it in this Skyblock map. I can't remember. I'm fairly positive that the Wandering Trader doesn't sell bamboo. I could be wrong about that. It might be somewhere in the trades, but obviously waiting for the Wandering Trader to come up with a specific trade is an exercise in futility most of the time. So I think it's probably going to be worthwhile to do a little bit of fishing here in the jungle to see if we can get some bamboo, because bamboo will be useful as a fuel source. We can use it to make scaffolding, and if nothing else, it's just something else that we can have on this map as long as we can find it in the first place. Okay, after fishing for a whole bunch of time, I think that was probably about 30 to 40 minutes worth of fishing, during which time I got myself a fair amount of loot, including 4 enchanted books actually, none of which I can actually apply to anything because I don't have an anvil to do that. Likewise, the name tag, also can't combine any of the bows, so I'm keeping those in here for now. I finally have 2 tripwire hooks, so we can go ahead and make this farm. I also have a lot of raw cod that I might actually smelt and eat that. So for this, we are going to have to grab our final piece of redstone dust from in here, and probably a little bit of extra stuff from here. Do I have a bow that I can use? I guess I could probably use this one, but I'm fairly certain we have... Oh yeah, we got a bunch of those in there. Repaired from the skeleton spawner, but they will still function just perfectly in a dispenser. Not a dropper. Don't build a dropper. Build a dispenser. Okay, let's grab those, and I think we'll make this out of smooth stone because I have more of that than I have the cobble right now. We'll bring some cobblestone slabs for building stuff. We need our tripwire hooks. We need a piece of string, and I even got like couple of pieces of string from fishing. Let's see what else we need to bring with us. Okay, the one concern I have is that I don't have enough iron to make myself another bucket of water, and this is going to require us to put a bucket of water in the dispenser. There really is no other way of dispensing water from that, but I think that will be fine because hopefully this will allow us to farm some more iron, and we can find a way to get another iron ingot. We could even smelt some of the chain armor that I've been getting from other things if we wanted to smelt that down, and the stuff I'm wearing, that's like another 7 nuggets. It really wouldn't be all that much. Even the iron sword we could potentially smelt down because it's going to be in service of having another bucket. And this mob spawner we're going to be creating is not going to be one where we can kill the mobs by hand, but from what I understand, husks, zombies, and drowned drop the gravel, the sand, and the clay that they drop in this pack, regardless of whether or not they are killed by the player. So we're going to rely on full damage in order to kill everything in this design of the farm, and then we are potentially going to crack open this farm so that we can get our turtle egg back. But for now, I'm going to drop everything unnecessary in the chest. I don't think we will need either of these. Let's leave the stone pickaxe there as well, and we need to go over and we need to chart exactly which areas of that little section of the void over there technically count as desert. I have a feeling that it's going to be a relatively small area, judging by the jungle island over there. The island itself and a couple of blocks to either side was jungle, but then outside of that it seemed to turn into a mountain biome. So we are going to need to tread a little bit carefully here and only use the areas that we think are, technically speaking, the desert. I'm going to have to dump the water here because I will need to go back for the lava. So we're going to need to hop back in here. We're going to break the cobblestone generator open. We're going to grab our lava source from the top there. Oh, bye-bye lava. We'll be back here with it in a bit. Okay, so once again over here we are going to place the lava so that it drops down into the void. And I'm doing this a couple of blocks away from the water. It doesn't exactly matter where we're going to do this because we can always remove the blocks if we need to, but here is where we're going to be placing the lava source. We'll need to make sure that we are careful where we place the water, which I can now pick up using the bucket once again, and yeah, we'll need to make sure that we place the water in a spot that isn't going to break the lava source is the main thing. Just like we did before, we're going to wait for that stream of lava to hit the bottom of the world where the void starts, and then we will pour the bucket of water 1 block away from that lava stream so that it converts the entire thing into a column of cobblestone, and we can reclaim the lava source, put that back in our cobblestone generator, and move on to phase 2, building the actual farm. And I have to admit, I always get a little bit nervous for this step, but hopefully everything should be fine. Yes, okay, we're good. Let's reclaim that lava source, take it back to the cobblestone generator, and move on to phase 2. And so much like when we built our first mob farm, the idea here is going to be to make sure we can place a block right at the bottom of the world so that we can build out a platform that we are going to be standing on as low as possible so we can build the rest of the mob spawning platform as low as possible as well. I'm going to put all of the valuable stuff in here. Right now, the stuff we really can't afford to lose. I will probably put most of the other supplies in here as well just because, but we're going to need to set up some slabs down there. I'm going to bring a decent amount of those just so I can get this whole thing kicked off. And it's time to do a little bit of diving with the coordinates turned on so I can see precisely where I am and make sure that I'm not going down too low and falling into the void. Right at the bottom of the block here, I'm going to try my best to place a slab. Yep, there we go. I ended up placing 2 there, but that's fine. We can set up a slab platform here. Oh, I'm really having to fight the current at this point. No. I do not want to end up in the void. Okay, at least we have a decent amount of blocks down there now that we can probably set up on. I'll try and place a torch there. Okay, so we have some light as well, just in case it turns night while I'm out here, although I think the sun is climbing as it is right now. We can get back up to the top here and remove this water source. Although it occurs to me I should probably have some ladders, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get back up to the surface, so let's go grab a few of those. So right here, we are in a plains biome, and a well-lit plains biome thanks to that torch I placed earlier. I'm going to try placing some lower half slabs out here so we are at the 0.5 block height, and that is as low down as we will be able to get. But let's branch out here. As far as I'm concerned, when that platform starts, we should end up in the desert biome, looking at the biome here on our radar. Yes, there we go. Okay, the desert begins here. How are we going to mark that? I guess we'll just look at it on the biome readout on the left-hand side there. So let's take a look at what we've got to work with in terms of an outline. Oh, there is a river biome there, and that might not seem like such a big deal, but river biomes are one of the only places you can spawn squid. Now that squid only spawn in oceans and rivers, I've been wondering where exactly we're going to be putting them in this Skyblock world, and that might be a likely candidate. So we will deal with that a little bit later. Let's try and outline the rest of this desert. I have a feeling it's just going to be... Oh, okay, ocean starts there. So it is quite a small area we're working with. That right there looks like it's going to be more than enough space to build the platform I want to build, because the whole thing only needs to be about 14 blocks across, so I think we should be okay with that. Now we need to make sure we can get down to probably about 30 above the void. I'm going to make the platform around here, starting out a platform at Y31. That's probably going to work okay, because remember that this platform is going to be spawning all types of mobs other than husks, and witches are included in that. Witches need at least a 30 block drop in order to take enough damage to die on impact, which is what we're really looking for here. So across the middle of this platform, we are probably going to try and build it around here. We'll try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We would put the dispenser there, but I'll put a stone block there for now, and we need to make sure we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 the other side. Okay, great. So that's working out nicely. I will put torches all over this thing to make sure it doesn't spawn any mobs right now. So I've counted 7 blocks in from where the desert was. This block here basically needs to be the dispenser, and that's going to be dispensing a water bucket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks in every direction. This is going to be like the mob spawning platforms that we built in the survival guide over at the ski resort when we built a mob spawner over there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks in every direction and connected in a diamond pattern so that it basically tracks the outline of anywhere water will spread to when it's dispensed from this central block here. If we're completely certain that this platform is as lit up as it can be, the next thing we need to do is go down here and fill in all of the rest of the blocks underneath this to allow a platform around the outside of this area for the mobs to fall down onto when they get swept off the platform with that water stream and die on impact. So we're going to be building out a large area of cobblestone slabs right at the bottom of the world down there. The husks will, of course, need open sky above them, so we're going to take out the rest of this platform to make sure it does not block any sky access from the spawning platform down below. So now I've filled out this whole area underneath the farm, I'm going to explain a little bit about how this works, and it's going to require you to have a fishing rod. Nice and easy to make. Just get a few string from the mob farm that we already have and make yourself a fishing rod. I've even fished up fishing rods, and hopefully this farm will generate enough string from spiders that we'll be able to craft a few more, and the actual tool use here is going to be negligible. What we're going to do is activate the dispenser, which will have water bucket inside of it, using the fishing rod bobber, which is going to be able to reach up pretty much as far as that platform is in the air. It does curve a little bit though, so we're going to have to stand back a little bit and fire it around there, and it's going to hook onto the tripwire and tripwire hooks that we're going to have set up underneath this dispenser. It's going to take a little bit of work to make sure we can get this right, but what I'm going to do is stand underneath here, place a slab there, and pillar up so that we can attach the string and the tripwire hook underneath the dispenser. So we need to place one block there underneath the dispenser in the center of the platform. I'm actually going to pillar out one more block so we can place another block there, because you'll need a tripwire hook there, basically 3 blocks gap, because the string is going to go there in the middle. And now anytime anything activates the string, whether it is the fishing rod bobber or something else, even an arrow fired accurately enough will activate this whole thing. It will dispense whatever is in the dispenser in the top there, which right now is nothing, but in a second when we add the water bucket, it'll basically flood the entire platform to the edges with water. And that will flush all the mobs to the edges of the farm, where eventually they will fall down here and hopefully meet their demise. That's fingers crossed. Anyway, let's see if this works now. We should be able to catch that from the underside if we stand back a little bit. It occurs to me right now that I'm not entirely sure if we're hitting the tripwire from underneath or not. It looks like we're just about reaching. Yep, I saw in the subtitles there it said dispenser failed. So we are actually ticking the dispenser, and as long as we finesse it a little bit, as long as we know where we're supposed to be throwing from, what area of the platform we're going to be looking at, we should be able to get this down to a fine art. Not only that, but if you don't attach to a block with your fishing rod, if you pull it back in fast enough, this actually won't take any durability. It might take a little bit if you end up getting it stuck on a block and then pulling it back in. That takes 2 or 3 durability off at a time. So it's going to be a case of trying to angle it so that you hit the tripwire and nothing else. But all in all, this should be a fairly effective way of enabling and disabling that with very few redstone components, because we don't have any redstone to make repeaters, timers, a clock, pistons, anything like that right now. What we do have is a place to stand and a little bit of ingenuity. So this farm is going to require the players' active participation, but then again, it's also going to require us to stand underneath it in order to spawn stuff anyway. So it kind of makes sense that we would be under there spamming fishing rods every now and again. The last thing I'm going to do up here is remove these last few blocks from the walkway here, so that this is now going to be a platform completely independent of the player. And yeah, I should really get some more materials just so I can fill in the rest of this so that skeletons can't snipe me from around the corner of this ladder. And of course, it is raining a little bit. The other thing it's going to be worth doing is making sure that we have a second bed over there that we can use. That way, we can end up with a sort of emergency shut-off for the farm, because we're only going to be able to use the farm at night. So in order to make it daytime, make sure all of the mobs up there either burn or eventually would despawn, we're going to need to make sure that we have a bed down there at the slab floor level so that the player can sleep if we want to. Okay, so I now have my little access set up for this farm. We should just be able to come up and down this ladder, and if we want to, I could reposition the ladder a little bit as well to make it less awkward to enter. Now, let's see if we can nail it on this tripwire. I will probably need to take a couple of tries at this. Yep, there we go. Sounds like the torches are breaking. They are raining down around us. Okay, that's a pretty good sample of where the mobs should be falling. They might have a little bit of momentum when they come off the platform, but really the only thing that is left to do is to wait for it to become nighttime and give this thing a try. Okay, the night has got as dark as it can be, and I see a few spider legs inching out over the edge of the platform. Let's give this farm a go for the first time. I think I need to aim maybe about there. Let's angle the bobber. Yep, okay, that looks like it has dispensed the water, and here they come, folks. Hey, we did it. So look at that, and we even got our first block of sand. Fantastic stuff. Yes, we even get a few bones, a little bit of string, a little bit of running around required to get the items. It's not quite as neat as our mob spawner in that regard, but if we just throw that up there, yep, looks like that has triggered perfectly. We still got all of the durability on our fishing rod. We can give it a few seconds for the platform to reset, for a few more mobs to spawn. I can see a spider up there already, but we should be able to get a lot more than that. Hopefully, if I throw it now, triggers the dispenser once again, we'll see the water spread out from the platform, and some more mobs start to fall. Do husks drop sand 100% of the time? It'd be really cool if they did. I would very much like that right now. Yep, as far as proof of concepts go, I think this is working pretty well. I wish I had some concept of the timing. If I knew what was up there on the platform already, then whoa, okay, there was an Enderman, and there's always a chance that we could get ourselves our first Eyes of Ender this way, or not Eyes of Ender, but at least Ender Pearls. I don't think he... Whoa. Hi there, spider. I don't think he has taken any fall damage, though, and I don't necessarily trust myself to attack him right now. So, you know what? I'm going to go for it. Why not? Never fought an Enderman with a stone sword before, but there we go. We got our first Ender Pearl. Amazing. I'm so happy. This episode has been an absolute delight, and hopefully some more mobs should now be spawned up there, and we can fish them down here with the fishing rod. There we go, spiders on the way. Whoa, okay, that was a lot all at once, but we have 3 more blocks of sand. This is incredible. I'm so happy about this. I think we even got a little bit of glowstone dust there from a witch. So that's proven once and for all that witches can take that fall and die instantly as well. Great stuff. Okay, let's trigger that one more time. I really need to work on exactly where the best place to aim is. I think around there. Yep, there we go. Okay, we got it. And our durability is down to 29 because I let the rod hit the ground over there before I reeled back in. But this should be a really nice way to farm some husks. A little bit manual and a little bit kind of, you know, as rough as it can be, really. But I'm looking forward to getting a bit more sand this way. Hopefully we'll be able to farm a few more mobs this way. Maybe even get ourselves another iron ingot so we can get another bucket. And then we can say goodbye to that mob farm over there for the time being. I'm going to fish a little bit more sand out of the sky here. Until next time, folks, thank you so much for watching the Minecraft Skyblock Survival Guide. My name has been Pixlriffs. Don't forget to leave a like on this episode if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.